Even though the title on this video says that it's a devlog, it's not going to be an all-inclusive devlog of what I've done since the last devlog. Actually, I'd rather just focus on one small thing that I have been locked in a dungeon working on for the past 2 weeks. So you may already know that I've been working on a demo for my game that's going to be a little vertical slice of the game. And I've been working really hard to polish things and make things up to my standard, I guess, the standard of what the full game will be. And there's a lot of it that I'm very happy with. I'm proud of the systems that I've created and put in place. I'm proud of the story and the characters. I even think the game looks mostly good on the visual side. But like a pebble in my shoe, there's one thing that has been really bothering me that I just haven't felt was up to the standard that I was willing to put out. And that's my battle system. Now, don't get me wrong, I love a lot of the stuff that I've done on the back end that the player can't see. Like how each character has a gimmick in battle that is uniquely them. Or the items that I've set up that you can use in combat that are actually useful. Bombs and throwing knives and boomerangs that don't just do super piddly damage. And especially my friendship skills. How you learn them by growing the bonds between the party members. But on the front end, it's not been great. I knew from the beginning that I wanted to make a turn-based game because my favorite RPGs are turn-based. I mean, the whole reason I'm even making this game is because I want to make a game that I would really enjoy playing. And RPG Maker is good at turn-based, so I thought that wouldn't be a problem. I realized after a while, though, that my battle system was looking very Final Fantasy, but like, not even good Final Fantasy. I tried to customize it, of course. I used plugins, and I used battle animations, and I used custom sprites, and I did everything I could to try to make it special, but at the end of the day, it was still just like knockoff Final Fantasy. So I had a new goal. Switch up my battle system so it is no longer off-brand Final Fantasy, while still retaining all of those custom things that I'd already made that I really liked, which meant it was going to have to stay turn-based. And that goal was not easy to accomplish. My biggest problem was that I wanted the game to feel special, but I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what I wanted it to be. Final Fantasy is like what I know, that's what I like, so knockoff Final Fantasy is about all I could think of, to be honest. I racked my brain, I took tons of notes, I scoured forums, I did everything I could think of, and inspiration was not coming. So I said, okay, fine, whatever, it can stay knockoff Final Fantasy for now. And you know, maybe it's fine, maybe it'll grow on me. Spoiler alert, it did not. Because how the heck are you going to do a Final Fantasy-esque battle system without even things like pincer attacks or back attacks? Which, those wouldn't work in the way that I had my battle system set up before. And if I tried to get them to work, they would break the duct tape and bits of twine and popsicle sticks that were holding everything together. This whole situation with my battle system frustrated me so much that I didn't want to even work on anything related to battles for my game. So then, literal months passed, and I never touched the battle system during that time. I was honestly reaching a point where I was so worried that this demo was never ever going to come out because I was never going to be able to finish my battle system, and it was like, why am I even making a game anymore? It's never ever going to get finished. Oh my god, I'm a failure. But then, about 2 weeks ago, I was actually playing through somebody else's game, and as I was playing that game, I was impressed by how much more than just walking was. There was a lot of jumping around and doing QTEs, and it was all just like a lot of fun movement. And then a light bulb went off in my head. Movement! I started trying to think about how I could implement movement into my battle system. Now, when I think of movement in turn-based battles, I think about tactical style systems. But I don't really like those super in-depth tactical systems. They're just not my thing. I prefer tactical light, things like Trails in the Sky, where you can move around the field just a little bit and then attack, or my absolute favorite tactical battle system is Wandering Sword. And tactics systems like that, even the tactical light systems, use grids, and you move around in the grids, and you interact based on who's on the grid next to you. And I like that, but it doesn't seem like the ideal thing for my game. I don't even use grid-based movement on the map, so suddenly going into grid mode in battles seemed a little bit weird. So then I started thinking, what if everybody in the battle had an invisible bubble? You know, like they say, you're in my bubble, you're too close to me. What if everybody, actors and enemies, had bubbles? And if you get too close to somebody else's bubble, or like your bubble starts touching their bubble, this is a weird description, but then, you're within a range to do certain actions. And I liked that questionable idea so much that I had to do it. So enter Tay Battle Bubble, my new battle system. Okay, let me show you how it works. Before I get into the actual plugins themselves, let me just do a demonstration. So let's get into one of these test battles and see the battle system in action. Right off the bat, you can see that it's Kaya's turn and we are in the movement phase. Now, obviously I still have some issues with layering the enemies. Enemies move around on the battle screen and you can set up behaviors for every one of them. So the spider here, it has a wander behavior, so it's just gonna wander around like that. I have a few types set up, but I don't have every single type that I want to use yet set up. But let's look at the important part, the bubble. So you see there's a battle animation playing over Kaya right now. And that, I guess, would be her bubble. It's gold generally, but whenever you are in melee range for an enemy, it's going to turn red. So let's get close to the enemy. And then right now, the only skill that I have set up as a melee skill for her right now is just attack. So we'll attack it. Awesome. And now it's no one's turn. So we can run around and we're too far from the enemy. If we try to attack it, it's not going to show up. We could still guard, we could still use an item, but let's try to get closer to it. Let's try to get closer to it and attack it. Now, let's move over here. And show like a magic that doesn't have to be used next to the enemy. Now, this is another type of enemy movement, and these pick an actor and they just kind of chase after it, and they get up in your space. But Kaya has a really cool skill that she doesn't even need to get close to it for, so we'll just use that. Nice. Oh, and we won. Nice. Let's look at a different one. So this is kind of chaotic, because we've got multiple enemy types here. And like I said, the layering of the enemies and the actors just isn't finished yet. But all three of these are set to the wander type, so they're just gonna wander around. We're too far. That's okay, we can use magic on one. Or, actually, before we do that, by the way, you might have noticed, we start in the movement phase whenever it's somebody's turn, we press OK to open up the command window, and then we can press escape if we change our mind and want to move around some more. See, now I'm close to all three of them, so we can pick any of them to attack. Huzzah! Oh, that's another thing. This isn't something that I'm going to be releasing publicly. This is literally just for my own personal use because it's a mess. I'm not a coder. But I still think it's pretty cool. Now, a couple of things I still need to set up. Right now, I've got a bug when you move to the edge of the screen. The amount of time that you spend walking, when you try to turn the other way, you get stuck for that same amount of time. We walked too close to the edge. Oh, nope, we're stuck again because we walked into the edge. That should be a fairly easy fix. It's basically just that it thinks that you're still walking all the way off the edge of the screen, even though technically you get stuck there. So it's like, oh, I'll bring you back onto the screen. It's just weird. Another thing that I want to set up in the future is whenever you get into your friend's bubble, this little animation that plays over you is going to turn green, maybe? And I want there to be, maybe even rainbow, but I want there to be a special little pop-up that pops up above attack called friendship or something, who knows. And that can be where you access your friendship skills. But I basically want you to have to get right up into your friend's face and give them a smooch to be able to use a combination attack. But you know, I've only been working on this for 2 weeks, so far it's pretty good. Also, the battle background is just a placeholder. But yeah, even getting the proximity bubbles all set up was kind of annoying. But it's still glitchy, and it's definitely not finished. And actually, it's so unfinished that I even have it where, I'll show you. I have a bunch of features set up as different plugins, which is not best practice at all. Let me show you something cool though. Currently, I think that I'm going to be able to get Mog Hunter's battle camera, the little auto battle camera, working with this system. It doesn't yet. I haven't even attempted to adjust the code. So this is just at its default stage. But take a look at it. See? It follows the player. That's gonna be sick. But see how it's like not working? But it could in the future. It might work. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I think if I mess with it a little bit and make it to where this doesn't happen, this showing below the battle background, I think that we could make it work. So if anyone's been curious about what I've been working on, that's it. I've been working on my battle system. It's still in a very unfinished state at this point, but I'm excited. I think that it's going to be really cool, and I think it's just what my battle system needed to really give it a little extra specialness. I mean, really all that it does is it adds a movement phase before the window command phase. So you start each turn with your movement phase, then you bring up the command window and you do whatever you need to, and then it adds in that proximity-based checker for skills. Anyway, I would love to know what you guys think about it. It's obviously still very much in its infancy, so like, don't judge it too hard. But if you have any suggestions to make it even cooler, or if you notice something that I totally missed, like a glaring bug or something, please let me know. But yeah, I'm actually going to go ahead and end the video here, but I just wanted to show off what I've been working on so hard for the last couple of weeks. And I expect to continue working on this plugin, or series of plugins. Eventually, I will merge them all into one plugin, but at the moment, I'm so scared of breaking things that I already have working that I'm keeping like each new feature that I add in as its own plugin until I get it, you know, working and perfectly polished and everything works together, and then I'll kind of merge them into one. Anyway, if you like the look of my game or what I'm doing here on my YouTube channel and you would like to support this poor game developer, please buy me a cup of coffee. I have my Ko-Fi linked in the description below. Alternatively, you could like this video or subscribe to my channel or dislike this video if you hated it. That is also valid. What cool things have you guys done with your battle systems? I would honestly love to hear about it. So tell me about it in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I've got kind of a fun video planned for next Friday, but don't tell anybody. I'll just see you then. Okay, bye!